Have you ever had an encounter with a ferocious, deadly animal? Maybe you encounter a lion, a bear, or a deadly snake. Well, your personal encounter with Jesus Christ is very similar to that meeting. Before I continue, allow me to introduce myself. I am Leroy Daley of Blogging About the Word. On that website and on this YouTube channel, I teach Christians how to better understand their Bibles. I don't teach my opinions. I utilize scriptures I use scriptures to explain other relevant and correct scriptures, for word must be on word. Word must be on word. Scriptures on scriptures. Precepts on precepts. Precepts must be on correct and corresponding precepts, or else we will have confusion and misinformation in the church. And we don't want any more of those. What is an encounter with Jesus? How would you describe your encounter with a lion, a bear, or a deadly snake? Would you declare that that experience was your first meeting? Similarly, when you have a personal experience with Jesus, it's always your first encounter with Him. Therefore, your initial meeting with Jesus Christ is your encounter with Him. Consequently, sinners have encounters with God. Sinners encounter Jesus. Unsaved encounter Jesus. When you are saved, you don't describe your interaction with the Lord as an encounter. Thus you should have many of those. Is your encounter with Christ by choice? Did you choose to encounter the lion, the bear, or the snake? Similar to how you didn't choose to meet with one of them, you didn't decide to meet with Jesus Christ, because you will not know beforehand that you will encounter the Lord. He chooses the place and the time. He chose the place and the time for Moses. He chose the place and the time for Samuel. He chose the place and the time for Saul of Tarsus. Moses was in the backside of the desert tending his father-in-law's sheep when he had an encounter with God. Samuel was still a child when he had his first encounter with God. And Saul was on the Damascus road to persecute the church when he had his first encounter with God. In all these cases, the Lord chose the time and the place. Therefore, in your encounter, the Lord will also choose the time and the place. We cannot choose when we encounter the Lord. What happens when you have an encounter with Jesus? The similar thing happens if you encounter a lion, bear, or a snake. It radically alters your life. You will never be the same person after that experience. Cornelius was not the same person after his encounter with Christ. Acts 10 explains that. Saul of Tarsus was never the same person after his encounter with Jesus Christ on the Damascus road. Acts 9. I have not been the same person since my encounter with Jesus Christ at age 15. Our personal encounter with Jesus is our initial meeting with Him. It is not His presence. We are not in the presence of the Lord, because we cannot just be meeting Jesus and simultaneously be in His presence. We experience that in subsequent meetings with Him. Those are relationship building. When you're in the presence of God, that means you've already given your life to the Lord and you're building relationship with Him. That's when you are in the presence of God, not when you're just coming to know Him. Additionally, we don't choose when we meet Jesus Christ. He chooses the place and the time. However, be certain to receive him when you encounter him, or you could miss your chance of eternal life if you miss your encounter with Jesus Christ. That's all I have to say today on the encounter, your personal encounter with the Lord. Catch you.